Thank you, President Verheyen and President López Aguilar, honorable members. This is a very special moment for me. It is an emotional moment. Over the last 30 years, on countless occasions, I have had the chance to sit in a number of committees and bodies of this institution, first as a junior official, then as a manager, and later as member of the European Parliament. But the magnitude of me sitting now in front of you as Vice President designate, seeking for your confidence and trust to implement a program for the next 5 years together with you, is truly humbling. The treaty reminds us that the European Union is founded on the respect for human dignity in a society in which pluralism, non-discrimination, tolerance, justice, solidarity, and equality between women and men prevail. In doing so, the treaty for me very clearly defines my mission as Vice President. The portfolio responsibilities attributed to me range from education, culture, employment, security, migration, to health and equality. But the common thread of all these areas, of all these policy areas, is people. Defending the simple but essential premise that everybody matters, that none should be left behind, and that all should have access to the same rights, securities, and opportunities. This is the premise I will start from should I be confirmed as Vice President. I see my coordinating role as bringing a significant added value in 3 main areas on which I will concentrate these short introductory remarks. First, on making our societies fairer and more inclusive. Second, on delivering the new Pact for Migration and Asylum. And thirdly, completing our security union that addresses traditional and modern threats. In all 3 areas, the measures to be taken have to cut across existing organizational silos. My job will be to ensure we pool expertise across policy areas with a focus on people and concrete outcomes. I do not, by any means, take lightly the debate that has been triggered by the title given to this work. I have the greatest respect for all the positions and all arguments expressed in this debate. Shakespeare would have us believe that a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. But names are important because they give things meaning. They bring us meaning. And it means something to be European. At its core, being European means protecting the most vulnerable in our societies. It means healthcare and welfare systems that all can access. It means having the same opportunities. It means promoting culture and sport as core elements of our systems and equipping people with the knowledge, education, and skills they need to live and work in dignity. It means feeling safe on our homes, in our streets, and all of the places we like to meet, exchange, and experience life together. Being European means being open to the world, extending heart and home to those who are less fortunate. It means standing up for these values, for these rights, for these principles, across the globe. Being European means peace, freedom, equality, democracy, and respect for human dignity. On a very personal note, being European for me has meant living a European life, raising a European family, and dedicating 30 years of my life to European public service. I am nothing if not for Europe. I am proud to be European, and all the more so for having been given the unique opportunity to serve our Union. Honorable members, your committees represented here today serve as drivers in making our societies more inclusive and more resilient. And I believe that together we can build a future based on access and opportunities for all. Let me start with the first chapter of these remarks, making our societies fairer and more inclusive. We are known as societies that protect the most vulnerable in our midst, and I want this to be true across the board. If confirmed, I will use the cross-cutting portfolio attributed to me to promote a comprehensive approach when it comes to inclusion and integration. The establishment of a European Pillar of Social Rights has been a landmark development, but we must now make sure that all these rights and principles are brought to life in practice. One of my first tasks, my main tasks, will be to ensure that the future European Social Fund Plus fosters social inclusion, supports those most in need, and helps enhance labor mobility across the EU. We need to equip our youth with the right skills to thrive in a changing world of work. We will work to make the European education area a reality and incentivize member states to reform and modernize their education and training systems, including in digital learning. I will ensure we use the Erasmus+, the Discover EU, and the European Solidarity Core programs to empower our youth and offer new mobility opportunities. To help ensure that no child is left behind, we shall introduce a European Child Guarantee to ensure children at risk of poverty or exclusion have access to most basic rights like healthcare and education. This is an idea born precisely in this Parliament, and we will honor this pledge. I will work with the Health Commissioner to ensure we promote the inclusiveness of national healthcare systems, and I work with the Equality Commissioner to ensure we promote equality at all levels, including between sexes, a new push for the anti-discrimination legislation, and a European gender strategy that promotes equal pay for equal work. This new drive for inclusion across all spheres must include a strong and renewed push to further the integration of third country nationals. I intend to build on the 2016 Action Plan on the Inclusion of Refugees and Migrants and additional funds in this area. I was glad to see that the longer-term integration of migrants and refugees will be incorporated under the new European Social Fund Plus. This will allow us to have more tools and more resources to support inclusion initiatives. And we must not forget one of Europe's treasures, our cultural heritage, that we must continue to invest in and promote inside and outside our borders. Sport, too, can have a positive impact on society in terms of health, social inclusion, and gender equality. If we want to help our societies and economies thrive, we need to support everyone who is part of that society, with inclusion being both a right and a duty for all. Let me now come to the second chapter of my work, delivering the new Pact on Migration and Asylum. This is a tall order, but one I believe we can achieve by mobilizing our strengths and learning from the past. This new pact must be cross-cutting and marry internal and external policies. When it comes to the reform to our common European asylum system, the first thing we will do, together with the Commissioner for Home Affairs, is engage in a dialogue with you and our member states. We have to find exactly where there is scope for compromise, listen and establish the way forward. We will present you quickly with options that we would like to discuss and find consensus on. But only then we will be putting something formally on the table. We will not neglect for a second the mountain of work already achieved over the past 3 years, as well as the compromises found already on a large bulk of the reform package, all of which I know very well was very much thanks to you here in this Parliament. This work will be preserved. Our internal reforms are only one part of what needs to be a much broader picture. As a stopgap until a new, truly asylum system comes into force, we need to support member states in concluding temporary arrangements on disembarkation. For me, part of this must include pursuing a proper dialogue with the many NGOs doing commendable search and rescue work in the Mediterranean. We need them to be part of the solution. And today, on the tragic anniversary of the Lampedusa tragedy, this is true than ever before. All proposals and initiatives of the new pact will be done with the aim, a parallel aim, of lifting internal border controls and returning to a fully functioning Schengen area. A credible system for asylum must also protect against abuses of the system. I will lead a renewed drive to set up returns of those with no right to stay, firstly by completing the reform of our EU internal rules on return, and secondly by concluding readmission agreements and arrangements with priority countries of transit and origin. It is now high time to use all tools at our disposal in support of our priorities in the area. And finally, building on pilot projects on legal migration, which are underway, I will promote modern and targeted legal migration schemes that respond to the needs of the EU economy, labor market, and demographic challenges. And we will ensure that humanitarian corridors are set up along the model of the emergency transit mechanisms to Niger and now also to Rwanda. Finally, moving on to my responsibilities regarding our security union. The values that we stand for must not only be championed, but also secured against what challenges them. This is the same union that sets world standards on data protection and privacy. And I'm very conscious that my role is also to ensure that whatever we do in security respects fundamental rights. The respect of fundamental rights needs to be designed into policies from the start. This will also guide my work in implementing the interoperability proposals, which will be particularly important as we move to launch our new information systems. I will place a relentless emphasis on implementation of what we have collectively agreed. I will promote a coordinated approach to protecting Europeans online through the adoption of our terrorist online content proposal, by inputting the Digital Services Act to come, and by investing in the work of the EU Internet Forum. I will use any possibility I have to build the EU's resilience and response to hybrid threats, which threaten our systems and our very democracies. Mesdames et Messieurs les députés, je siégeais en tant que membre de cette Assemblée et je sais pertinemment que le cœur de la démocratie européenne réside ici. C'est ici que nos lois sont adoptées et notre avenir façonné. Ce Parlement, votre Parlement, a été élu avec le plus grand nombre de voix en 20 ans. Cela témoigne de l'engagement actif des citoyens qui participent et donnent forme à notre démocratie. Nous ne pouvons pas le décevoir. Cela signifie également que j'assume une totale responsabilité envers vous, ainsi que la plus grande transparence quant à mon travail et à ma personne. Κυρίες και κύριοι βουλευτές, κλείνω λέγοντας ότι δεσμεύομαι να εφαρμόσω τα υψηλότερα πρότυπα δεοντολογίας και διαφάνειας με σεβασμό στη συνθήκη και τον κώδικα συμπεριφοράς των επιτρόπων. Δεσμεύομαι να εργαστώ συλλογικά με τους συναδέλφους μου και να εργαστώ ακούραστα μαζί σας για μια ένωση ασφαλέστερη για τους πολίτες μας, πιο ισότιμη, χωρίς αποκλεισμούς. Πάνω απ' όλα, δεσμεύομαι με όλες τις δυνάμεις μου να θέσω ως απόλυτη προτεραιότητα τους ανθρώπους. Πέρα και πάνω από κομματικές γραμμές και εθνικά σύνορα, η δική μας ένωση πρέπει να είναι μια ένωση ανθρώπων. Μια ένωση στην οποία κανένας δεν θα βρίσκεται στο περιθώριο. Μια ένωση πολιτών που ζουν σε συνεκτικές και ανεκτικές κοινωνίες. Σας ευχαριστώ.